what are some of the advantages of a developer building out an application on Vara versus another blockchain?
Wow, good question. I think that's the best question to ask to the developers, actually, that will be doing that on us. But what we are thinking is...
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the BlockHash Podcast. Before we jump into the episode with Pavel, with Vara Network, I want to share a message from our sponsor, Crypto. Pika is revolutionizing the intersection of NFTs and gaming through their Pika trading card game, Elders of Kai. The TCG will be both digital, physical, and Web3 integrated, allowing gamers to play and compete in various formats. Whether you are a newbie or a pro gamer, there is a spot for you in the Pika ecosystem. They're really revolutionizing this intersection between the Web3 universe and the gaming universe. So be sure to check them out and learn more about Pika and Elders of Kai on their website and social media pages. Join the Pika community on Telegram to keep up with the latest developments. All right, guys, enjoy the episode with Vara Network. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of BlockHash Exploring the Blockchain, episode 336. Today, I have Pavel here to talk about the Vara Network and everything they are working on. Pavel, welcome to the show, man. Excited to have a conversation with you today.
Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot. A pleasure to be on that podcast.
Absolutely. Pavel, before we start, tell us a little bit more about yourself personally, and I'm sure the audience as well would love to know more about you and your background and kind of how you got into this world of crypto and blockchain and Web3.
Sure. Actually, it was like a long journey. I started previously working in different fintech companies. And I think my first option on which I actually touched with crypto was when I was working as a regional director in eToro, the social trading network. And then the founder and CEO, Yoni Asia, was actually really fond of blockchain technology. And that's why eToro was the first, actually, let's say, Forex OTC trading company that allowed to trade CFDs on Bitcoin. In the beginning, even I think they had some leverage to that. I don't know now if I have it or not, but this was the idea. And that was in 2015. And Yoni was like looking at Bitcoin at that moment, even previously of that, as an idea of using it as a decentralized database storaging. So he was sponsoring by himself different startups. One of them was actually called Color Coins. And that gives you the option to put assets on top of the blockchain, and that type on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. And the person that was actually writing this white paper of these color coins was Vitaly Buterin, and he worked close with Yoni. He worked some time in the eToro office in Israel. And then when Vitalik finished the white paper, he actually sent an email to Yoni saying, "Look, I understood the idea that you have. I like it, but it's practically impossible to do it on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's really complicated. I think we have to do a different blockchain." And Yoni told him, like, "Are you crazy? Bitcoin is the best. It's now, like, you cannot do something like Bitcoin is already done." Here's the history. We know that Vitalik did it. He did his own blockchain. And they actually split it ways in that moment because Yoni was really angry to him. And Vitalik offered him to be one of his first sponsors of Ethereum, but he said, "No, you will not able to do anything like that." And later on 2000, I think it was around 2017, that we actually met together, Yoni, me, and Vitaly, in St. Petersburg Economic Forum in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, sorry, in Russia. And we have like conversation. They talk about the team or the color coins. They split it into different projects called Kulu, that's now in the UK. They use Ethereum also as Bitcoin. They managed to do it, so they're using both of these protocols for that. But that was the first time that actually really get close to crypto. And at the same moment, we also were willing to do something that was the idea. We need to understand that the time frame, it was back in 2016, 17, that we wanted to do a wallet on which you can actually be able to trade assets, but it would be stored, thanks to the Color Coin protocol, as a crypto assets. So meaning you can trade euro against the dollar, or you can trade oil, or you can trade any other stock that you want to do it. The trade would be registered on top of the blockchain, and officially you will have that colored coin thing in your wallet. So you can have it on your crypto wallet. And these ideas was something that was bringing a lot of interest to us as a company, and we tried to investigate in that way. And I was like working close with this project, and we're trying to put in some jurisdictions. But then obviously it started like the ICO boom, then the ICO went down, then the SEC started to say it's securities, and obviously as eToro is regulated in different jurisdictions, we're not allowed to do it. So the project was cancelled in a certain moment. Later on, they just opened the wallet and they can have trade crypto and things like that. But this is like the first close interaction that I had with crypto. Later on, I went out and I was a CEO of another company called Tokenbox that wanted to do tokenized portfolio management on top of the blockchain. But an analogy of token sets, but it was a mixture between centralized and decentralized. So the idea was that we were actually getting at that moment the liquidity of all the exchanges and aggregating them together. So the person that would be trading assets would have the biggest and the best liquidity possible in the market for that moment. And the portfolio, yeah, was tokenized, and then the people are getting this token so that the trader will ensure that he can trade his assets but never withdraw that from the customers. And then I actually went to consult several other projects, and in 2020, yes, I actually get met with the guys. One of the founders, we know each other from 2017, I think, around also that moment. And he said, "Look, I'm now in one of these projects. Do you want to hear about and give you ideas what you can have?" So I actually met with them. They discussed. They told me about the whole idea of building a new type of L1 solution that would be based on something that's quite unique in the space. That would be like the idea of having asynchronous messages that allows you actually to build programs and not just smart contracts. And I was like, okay, like, which the catch, because in that moment everybody will actually like in that moment was the boom of forking the Ethereum and making it faster, like layer 2 solution and stuff like that. So I said, no, what we will be doing first of all is like we will using the substrate framework. That's actually something that was developed by Parity. It's an option on how you can actually build blockchains from scratch practically, in like shortening your time. Instead of doing it in a year, you can do it in months, sometimes even in weeks, depending on the sophistication that you want to do it. If you want to have the just standard blockchain, you can do it like I think in several weeks. So one of the person that was actually developing this framework, his name is Nikolai, and he's actually the CEO, one of the founders of the company, and he's the CEO. And he said, like, I built that, but I want to do something different. I don't want just to take a fork and make speed up something. I want to give new technology that will allow the market, or the whole idea of the Web3 really to evolve and to begin to be Web3 idea. No, so like the centralized internet and all the stuff, not just words. Because actually, if we think about the blockchain, allows you to store information and have some computational power, but the computational power of the blockchain is quite limited. And especially if we're talking about the 99% of the blockchains that use what's called the asynchronous method of operations, meaning that the transaction is sent to somebody, this transaction is going to the main pool, and then the block producer, doesn't matter which type of consensus, proof of work, proof of stake, he takes these transactions, put them into the block, close it, and gives it to another person. So all the and the messages take one by one, one by one, one by one. And then what we are doing is actually we are parallelizing the computation. So you don't need to put it just in one pool, but you need to understand that they have validators that have different cores to process the information. And now you can have like 4 core or 6 core processing, but they're still 6 working on getting these blocks together in one transaction. So what we can do is we can parallelize this information and send specific queues to specific part of the processing. So that actually multiplies, let's say, the amount of the information that could be processed in one block. The speed multiplies by the amount of cores that the validator has. So you can actually split them up. And that's really interesting. First, second, we're using something that's called the ARCrypto model that allows you to communicate between different instances inside the blockchain and practically make them equal. So it doesn't matter if you're a user, you're a program, you're a bridge. It's actually you have the same attributes. You have the wallet, you will have your keys there, and you will have the same option to generate something new. Meaning, I'm as a user can send a message to program. That's quite normal. Everybody does that. A program can send a message to program. That's also normal. A transaction. Then actually, a program can generate a new program that's also sophisticated by doable. The first one was the idea of the CryptoKitties, when you actually have somebody from outside that mix and that the program generates something new. And then the third and something unique that we're doing is that the program can send a message to a user. Once we have this functionality, that allows you to generate more sophisticated things, meaning you can have a program that could evolve depending on the interaction that you're having with them. Let's say a dynamic NFT. We can have an NFT that will be like a Tamagotchi, on which he says, "Look, I'm hungry." You take it like you receive this message in your wallet, and you say, "Okay, feed him," or send him another NFT on a hamburger, or just send him a little bit of gas, some money for gas. And depending on the logic of the program, it will be evolving in different stages, different options, and different ideas. So this is something that just it's the first scratch of what you can do. Obviously, the same idea, thanks to the WebAssembly virtual machine that we're using, is the same that Polkadot uses, and actually now all the modern blockchain use that because it's faster. And even Ethereum is thinking to make an idea of EVM with WAS and some mixture because it works faster actually, and it allows you also to upload the information. So what we're doing is we have an option to store totally on-chain NFTs, which allows you to generate something interesting for the gamify space, for example, that you can really move the NFT from one game to another, and then as in our NFTs you can store the metadata on top of that, so you can actually be recording everything what's happening with this gameplay, and it will be all this on top of the on chain. You don't need to have outside somebody or an oracle to put the information, to store it somewhere, or even an IPFS and take them back, which actually gives a lot of freedom and interest for the gamify sector, which actually we think is one of the best suitable options for the Vara network. That's actually a network that we're working now to be done. But like I think it'll get longer my introduction, but
Mhm. No, it's a good introduction. No, and a lot of stuff that you guys seem to be working on, a lot of different angles here. I love what you were talking about with the metadata for the gameplay, that being stored, through the NFT, as well as the Tamagotchi example. Is gaming like a huge facet of what you guys are hoping to focus on with Vara Network, and maybe the type of use cases or applications you want to see built?
to be honest, yes, it's one of the best options and solutions where we're going to. Why? It's easy. If we're talking about DeFi, we have a lot of things that we can also give to the DeFi sector. But let's be honest. The biggest amount of LTV is actually closed on Ethereum. So we have to put a bridge, and the bridge is still like we're a little bit tricky with the bridges because the biggest exploits were actually with the bridges. So we are thinking and we're working on that solutions also with with different partners who can help us, but it's like complicated. So we want to be
Mhm.
sure that we'll not have that problem. So if we're taking out the idea of the bridges and the liquidity, that we are still like working with Zakai ideas, with Aleph Zero, stuff like that. But if we put gamify sector, then you really don't need that amount of bridge and liquidity, bringing a lot of tokens and all this stuff there. You can make like your own space. So these solutions is really important. From what we have the option to talk to different gaming guys, this is something that they are looking for, and we hope that this can make like a game change for them and can show the capabilities that the network has. So if they need it, please go. And I think that the gamify is a space that actually will be growing a lot during the next several years. Especially that now we're seeing big gaming companies that are trying to touch the water, doing some different stuffs around that. Obviously, we need to understand that the process of development for them is longer, but they already
Mhm.
experimenting with the technology. And the idea is that there is not just like an NFT that is like this is your prize and you have it. We think, and actually I think that it will be like a bag for the whole product, because at the end of the day the user doesn't care like if it's an NFT, it's encrypted or not. What he cares
Mhm.
is the attributes that he can have. If you have a game on which you can play, and then the winnings and the rewards that you're having, you can just take it and in certain proportion exchange it into another game because you want to keep on playing. You have nice gameplay, you like as you are used to, then that gives them like additional credibility, because you can go from one version to another version of the game and keep your own attitudes and rewards and all the stuff there, for example. And then if you are selling it, you can have a real sell market to do it. And then you understand that even if the game goes down, you still have your everything that you gained before the game. No, nobody can take it away from
Mhm.
you. And this is something that would generate, I think, trustless like an interest in the gameplays. But the most important stuff for the gamer is that they don't need to see the change of their usability. Let's say that, because
Right.
we'll see now mainly all the Web3 games or the gamified sector is a more sophisticated way of farming tokens or some type of stake. So there is not really gameplay. Now there are several games that are appearing and they start having this type of things. But I think we're just in the beginning of this evolution. And what really can help them is something that where you can really run programs on top, because you need to have more sophisticated logic other than just one by one and put all the information in one block, then squeeze it there and then put it into the blockchain. Because even if we see the guys from that are trying to focus a lot on gamifying sector, we can see that if they're using the what's called the synchronous blockchain, when it's one by one transactions and the information there are like Ethereum or Polygon, doesn't matter. What you're doing is Starknet, for example, doing the same project. They're taking this information, they're computing it outside, and then like a roll up, they're putting inside of the blockchain. Just because the computation is small there, and the second, just because the costs are really high if they want to do it totally on chain.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point, with the fact that gamers, for example, they want the experience to stay the same or to be better. They don't care what the back end technology is. And I think that's a very important aspect, because I think gaming is one of those industries that will drive probably blockchain adoption more than any other industry, just because the two go so well together, whether it's a token mechanic or play to earn or an NFT, or some type of financial component in a game. They mesh really well. And so if a game is efficient and people have a lot of flexibility, transferability, control over their avatar, the things they buy, that's the most important thing to them. So I can definitely see that being like something that really helps grow the industry. And I think, a good area for you guys to focus on as well. You had also mentioned DeFi a little bit too, in terms of finance. What were some of the, maybe applications that you guys see being built, or use cases you see coming out of Vara, that people are building around finance, around DeFi?
We think that one of the most interesting things that could be done there is actually like closing the gap. Okay, the whole idea also what Wad has and is to close the gap between Web3 and Web2, or vice versa.
Hmm.
So if we're seeing now, we can see if we're talking about DeFi, actually one of the biggest gaps that we are having is the comfort and the different options that you're having. While are you making transactions on SEX, on centralized exchanges, that's and then DeFi or decentralized exchanges? There is a huge gap there, and we think that thanks to our technology we can close that gap a lot and make like more seamlessly these ideas. And so actually the DeFi could really start looking as a centralized exchange, but with all the benefits of the DeFi. What that means, you can have an order book, for example, on-chain order book. You can where have different pools, for example, like located and the information there. You can put your orders, delayed orders transactions, because we have something that's called gas reservation, which allows you to put an to upload the program, and then depending on the information that is going there, it will awake themselves and execute it. Meaning that you put a delay order, you can put sophisticated orders like one cancel another, you can put stop losses, take profits if you have something like open in that type of the positions, depending on the type of orders that you want to do. All that is easily doable on top of us. Plus, you can have also the option to put not just the, let's say, the coding, but you can put also the front end on top of the blockchain. Obviously, there will be some things depending on the type of front end that you have. If you want to have more beautiful stuff, then you will have to upload it into the IPFS, for example, or Crust. Anybody that storage that information, it will just ping it, so you can put the images and all the things together. But the whole logic would be actually also on chain, for example, things like that. So this is where we think the DeFi would be interesting, and also
Mhm.
the next step on the evolution of the DeFi.
Got it. What about, okay, here you might have kind of already answered this already, but I want to highlight it because it's so important. What are some of the advantages of a developer building out an application on Vara versus another blockchain like Ethereum or Solana or something else out there that's also really popular? Like what kind of sets Vara um, aside from that competition and makes it maybe more efficient, maybe makes it more convenient to use? What do you think is most attractive?
Wow, good question. I think that that's the best question to ask to the developers, actually, that will be doing that on us. But what we are thinking is, obviously, there are a lot of good blockchains now in the market. That's true.
Mhm,
And what we are trying to do is to make not to take the teams that are already working into the blockchain space, but actually to bring new teams from outside that didn't know about the blockchain, or they know about the blockchain, but they say, it's too complicated. I need to understand what's happening there. I need to understand how to manage the memory of the programs. I need to dig out, have to have some time. I would prefer to have a beer and to see Netflix, for example. So if we thanks to our technology, what can do is shorten that process in a way that, for example, you don't need to think about how to manage memories and nothing like that. You will need to think about just two things: actually, the message that you send to the program and the message that you receive to the program. Handling these two parameters, you can actually build the code on us. So this is, first of all, it's something that actually is practically how you do it on Web 2. Second, when we're talking about our system, it's more about thinking on different, like, multi, how it would be say better, like there is a monolithic way on how you can build
mhm,
the programs, and there's a multi-service way where you can have different microservices that works their own logic, and then everything building together gives you the big product. So we are more like this microservice stuff, thanks to the logic and the asynchronous thing that we're having. When are you building it? Third thing is, actually, we're trying to give a lot of examples and documentation that will allow a person to actually take these examples and, like Lego blocks, build their own application in a fast and stream way. And the third, and I think it will be the fourth thing that we are also looking for, is to make a nice interface where you can do it. So, for example, to upload, you don't need to use an additional SDKs. We have our called idea, where you can actually enter there. You can connect your wallet, and then you will see all the programs that you're uploading, the status of the programs, the messages that the program is sending to you, the messages that you are sending to somebody else, what's happening inside the blockchain. You can actually code if you want there, but we did something more interesting. We just added Gitpod to any repository of our examples. So you just click there, and you have the code, and you just can write it there on any browser, then just compile it and put it inside the blockchain. So all this stuff, we're trying to make it seamlessly. We're still working, obviously, on a lot of them, because we get feedback, we analyze that, and we change something, we add some additional stuff. But this is the idea. The idea is to make the life of the programmer easy, the life of the programmer how he used to do it in the normal world, and that he can find the information that he needs in also an easy and straightforward way. So he doesn't have to be searching everywhere, asking in the forums how to do it. He just go to the wiki,
mhm,
put it there, he has this information. We're also adding something that's called Gear Academy, It's the way where actually we're teaching people how to develop applications on top of us. And it's based on different examples, a little bit about the technology, a little bit about the paradigm, the difference between the Web 2 and the Web 3 paradigm. When you are actually building application, it's important because it's a lot of people say, okay, I will take just Web 2 application, we'll try to add blockchain on top of that, or below that. It doesn't work really, because the whole idea is a little bit different. If we're talking about blockchain for using as monetization, then you need to build the application thinking on how that will monetize automatically, rather than on just, I have this application, we'll put some blockchain somewhere there just to make the hype. So there is things that you have to think about. We also try to teach about that, so people will get a little bit more knowledgeable before writing the applications. And now we get the feedback. We launch that with different university students. We get the feedback. We're actually building this course that we're having into 3 different courses. We are now partnering with the guys so that they can make some Rust education there, because for now the smart contracts are written just in Rust. But mostly sure in 2 months we'll have the option to write in assembly script also. That's a knowledge of TypeScript, and there is a team that's actually working on that, and they're trying to build this application. We already have some tests, it works, just need to make it nice and standardized. And that's also something that's the beauty of WASM, of using WebAssembly virtual machine, that has a lot of languages that compiles to it. So you can write actually codes on any of that languages. The only thing is that Rust is the most secure, fastest compile, and gives you everything. Like the syntax is, it's really fast and straightforward. So that's why it's like the premium language. The rest is also work, but as you see.
I like the idea of a Gear Academy. That's actually really cool. Is that something that you guys are that's out right now that you guys are doing, or is it still a work in progress and it's coming soon?
It's actually already out. Yeah, it's already out, but we don't marketize it too much, because we're having like different streams on when we're working with them, with different students
Mhm.
feedback and checking things. So it's there, but it's not like, we're not really pushing it to the mass market. Now that we get the feedback, we want to reduce some stuff, and then we'll push it totally to the mass market.
Okay, cool. No, that sounds like a really good way to get developers more involved and help them kind of teach what to do, like, within the network, how to build all these things. What about your guys' roadmap? What do you have coming up here in 2023 that maybe you guys are doing for Vara, maybe for Gear, or the whole ecosystem in total? Like, do you have new use cases launching? Is there any like system updates? Are you guys going to any events or anything like that? What should people be aware of that might be coming up on your guys' horizon?
Okay, we are mostly will be on all the events that actually would be Polkadot presented, because we're invited there,
Mhm.
as we're also substrate chain, so we're there quite tight with them. We're having something that's called the Mexican Hackathon. It's actually a series of hackathons that we're organizing now, that would be 4 regional hackathons with biggest universities in the regions, about 150 students hacking there. And then there will be a 5th one that will be in the Mexico City, the main one, that will also at the conference, that would be on the 15, 16, no, 16, 17, and 18 of June. And it will have 300 hackers. There are students hacking and building this different products, ideas, and things like that. Then will be a different stage and place. We'll have a conference between like 400 to 500 people will join there. So we'll have speeches from one of the biggest, everybody that's important, let's say, in the Mexican ecosystem regarding blockchain technology. It will be about everything, so that people can know about NFTs, Bitcoin, Ethereum, like get more knowledgeable about Web3. Because what we think is, the more people knows about that, the more people we have inside. Doesn't matter if like they will go and like Vara or will code on Vara, but even if they knows that and knows about other blockchain, they go to go about blockchain, but will still, everybody will get more reachable, more people, more fresh blood, more new ideas into that space. That's actually something that I think we're lacking a little bit now. And as always, like the beer market mainly swipes a lot of people out, especially the ones that want to be in hype. But at the same moment, it gives the option to the people that really want to build something to have this time to start building and working on that. And obviously sometimes it's curiosity and people like to scam, but that's why in the beer market is good to put the fundamentals, bring new people that really would like to build something. So when the hype
Hmm.
starts, they will have products, new ideas, new information there, not just cloning something that actually is hyping there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. You make a good point there. On the bear market, it's a good time to both learn and build too, because there's nothing else going on. It's not like a bull cycle where everything is all exciting and fun.
well,
It's
everybody's like, oh,
Louis.
what happened? New NFT. Okay, let's build analogy of that NFT.
Yeah,
You have monkeys. Let's build, I don't know, gremlins. Let's put something else. Let's put mouses and let's just spread it
exactly.
there. So
When's the hackathon happening in Mexico?
it's happening. The different regional hackathons actually will start on the 1st of June, but the
Hmm.
biggest one would be on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of June. And this is the one. And also, what we're starting now is an online hackathon that would be starting on the 29th of May, and it will cycle till the end of the year. Each month there will be different judges that we are bringing. It's actually not ours from our team. It's people like
Hmm.
VCs, developers from our projects. Doesn't matter. Like we will prejudge just the code, so we can see that the code is executable. The code is new. It's like we put the amount of code that actually was done during this period of the hackathon, and then the rest regarding the idea presentation, all the stuff is on other judges, so they can give the feedback to them. And that would be till the end of the year, meaning 7 seasons. And the idea is that they can, like, if they're building something big, they can go from month to month winning some prizes and building that configuration. If they're not winning 1 month, they can win the other one. And but summing the whole idea, the criteria, the feedback that people from VCs and marketers and other developers are giving back to them, which actually can really develop or give the option to build something big at the end of this whole hackathon. And also the whole idea is, while the VCs and the other developers are looking at them, they can have the option to get investment from them, or like job opportunities, whatever.
Very cool. Do you guys have a community on Discord or Telegram where people can
Yes.
kind of chit chat about the ecosystem, collaborate, learn a bit more about what's going on around Vara?
Yes, the Discord is actually our main Discord. That's actually the Gear one. You can find it if you go to gear-tech.io. The Twitter, the Telegram, we actually have the one that's Vara Network, and we have Gear also, then Gear Official. And then we have also the Twitter, that's Vara Network. That's the best way how you can learn everything that's happening around. And we also have the site that's called gear.foundation, on which you can see actually there will be the academy there, also events, news and ideas about the wiki and all the stuff there. And obviously the web page of Vara, it's varanetwork.io. You can see all the information related to the network, ambassador program that we launched some time ago, that people are joining there to, if you, one thing that we are always setting that up with ambassador program. If you are really passionate about technology, you can join that program, and you will get the knowledge and the option to learn more and more about what we are doing. If you are just like a bonus hunter there, it's not much for you, but still, you can check it.
Absolutely. We'll put all the links down in the description so it's easy for people to find and get access to. What about you? If people want to maybe connect with you, have a conversation, maybe collaborate on something, is there a place where maybe they can reach out and send you a message?
Good idea. Let me check the handle of my Twitter. I'm not really like too much there, just because it has a lot of stuff
Mhm.
to do. But just let me check what's my handle. It's Pavel dash Salas. That's mine.
Pavel Salas.
Yes. You can
Perfect.
find me there, or you can
Pavel.
find me in any group where we are. You can just tag me, and I will
Mhm.
be there.
Cool. Pavel, thank you for taking the time to come on the podcast. Really appreciate it. It's been really good conversation. Learned a lot about what you guys are doing with the Vara network and your guys' ecosystem, and very excited to see it continue to grow out. And God, I wish I could actually come to the hackathon. They're really fun. The one you got in Mexico sounds really cool. It's very close to me. Unfortunately, it's just couple weeks away, so I won't be able to go. But maybe I can come to the next one you
For
guys have,
sure.
relatively soon.
We'll invite you.
Sounds good. All right, man. Talk soon. Talk to you later. Take care.